back to the hostage diaries. And basically, what I'm trying to accomplish is dissection of theory. There is some legitimacy to this. This is all based upon the precedence of code, which is prevalent in so many realms of society. So, because of the use of computers and technology, what's happening to me is genetic code was superseded by a system and reversed. The whole Sonny and Klaus van Bülow Coma, well, the reversal of fortune, when they hacked my genes, and I had no idea of this. I didn't understand this at all, but this is just trying to understand my problems in an investigative, whether it be fiction or not. I mean, if it's fiction, it's really compelling types of storytelling that I had planned on using, but it goes back to I've been unable to. I've got a lot of material, but I'm unable to do anything with it. I have no channels of distribution or anything. And the funny part is that one. This is a sidebar. Remember the film Alex and Emma with Luke Wilson and Kate Hudson? Never had a writing assistant. I've looked, never had an editor. I've never had an agent. I've never had a competent muse. Well, not in the last 10 or 15 years, it seems, that I've actually interacted with, other than, never had a, so, I'm, my spoken word is good, and that's probably the best way for me to write a book. But of course, handicap makes it, we got to make it hard on you, the hardest possible to keep to keep in a state of captivity, to try to discredit. If you think about, everything is to desecrate. They want to desecrate everything about me in order to justify the treatment of. That's part of the Coma. And I just got finished watching this Coma by Robin Cook, and Michael Crichton had done a version, and I had referenced this last year in my Facebook, as far as I thought I was in a coma. But the method of my coma is extreme poverty. Most people, like I said, they're happy in their lifestyles. The problem is I showed a propensity to try and develop myself beyond my level of captivity. Most people build themselves into a regimented set of society, yet they don't really have the ability to rise above, because I have the ability to rise above because of the genetic propensity that opens doors. So that's the mode. That's why. And then I showed an awareness. So that's when I started getting beaten down. And that's when I was in a coma in Baton Rouge for many, many years. I was in a coma in New Orleans, definitely. And when I say coma, I mean extreme poverty, first of all, as far as my inability to find a decent job, and an inability to meet competent people. I've never met the Paul Allen to my Bill Gates, that sort of thing. I've never met any entrepreneurial types that have a competent mind. Most of the people I've been around have been dullards and dead weight, and nobody of any real substance since I've been on and I have been on this path for like 10 years, but and I hung signs up in the Ben and Jerry's from Louisiana Co. trying to manufacturing all sorts of different things. I hung up all sorts of things. People are aware of me. I just don't know what was going on. I was definitely in a coma in Aspen. That's probably why they had the Susan Wheeler, the Wheeler auditor, or the Wheeler Theater, definitely there. I mean, there was several years where I literally did nothing. I was basically being force-fed, misdiagnosed treatments, and I couldn't do anything. I was literally living on no money. I mean, there's a lot of my life where I had zero money. I mean, I was being fed. I was a dog. I mean, that's as much of a coma as you can consider. I've been fed, but I'm not allowed to interact. I'm just in an intravenous coma. That's what I've been in, an intravenous coma. And what's going on, though, is the identity theft is using my body and this is a theory, but I think it's the being John Malkovich scenario. The Tumblr keys of the same birthday, it connects with, the numerology connectivity. Fiction or not, who knows? But they're trying to discredit me. And the ways to discredit me are incompetence, mental capacity. But then again, I'm having I suffer from extreme long bouts of solitary confinement. That's been my torture. Solitary confinement for months and years, and just being around incompetent people. I am a bright mind and an intellectual, but any of the jobs I've had are usually never around competent minds. I don't really have competent honestly, in Baton Rouge, towards the end, I didn't have hardly any friends at all. I didn't have any friends hardly in Jackson, Wyoming. I didn't have any friends in Aspen. Crested Butte, kind of, but they were working all the time, and I wasn't, so we weren't really, it just didn't matter. I was always being knocked off balance. I was being knocked down. I'm constantly being attacked, as I feel, in different methods of knocking me down, attacking me, just constant attacking to keep, I call it the volleyball, motherlode volleyball golden spike, or the, just hammering down into the ground, burying me down by certain factions who benefit from my captivity. And this is theoretical, but I honestly think I supply energy to a cottage industry of the being John Malkovich was selling timeshares in the body. And what I think they're doing is selling timeshares in organs, minutia. And it only takes a trace element to give you that rank or that access or that relegate into that status. But they gambled on screwing me rather than building a competent thing. And this goes way back. And basically all my possessions have been pillaged. I have nothing left. My family's dissected. I am literally in a bubble, in a coma. The media has ignored me for years. I've been boycotted by them, been blacklisted by agencies, and I'm kidnapped in a coma is my best interpretation of it. And every time I try to escape, it's hammered down or the motherlode volleyball spike by the cheerleader mafia. There's all sorts of factions going on here that are benefiting. They're trying to transfer power out of me into other realms, into other beings through channels. That's what I mean. I think they're plugging into me and transferring out through these tubes, these intravenous tubes, just like I am force fed in a coma. I'm in a coma right now. Couldn't go anywhere, couldn't do anything, don't really have any friends. My family ignores me. Media, I've sent them 5,000 emails, not a word, nothing. I mean, I am literally in a coma. I'm kidnapped and there's got to be motive for that. So that's my motive. And now they're going to call me my mental capacity. It's the Jim Cramer versus Kramer, the Joker to get to pillage my prince's trust for Batman. And I use a lot of this lingo that's correlation from film because of the astronomical aspect of reality within that I see. There's reality within entertainment as far as metaphorical correlations to what's really going on in the world, especially pertaining to me because of who I am theoretically or whatever. All I'm trying to do is escape, get a meal, build some walls, maybe go on a date once this decade. See, and this really goes back to they really don't. There's an obsession, this stalker obsession, hate, extreme stalker obsession, hate with keeping girls away from me, especially proper pretty girl. They want to keep me away from honestly, I feel this. I can read energy or feel things, and they are desperate to keep me away from any sort of upper echelon, VIP especially, which is who I could date because of my genetic propensity, capacity. But they want to hammer me down, and they'd rather produce a bunch of counterfeit plastic fake IDs and a bunch of counterfeit credit cards than me actually go out and date and to my competent level. So there is this extreme stalker. I mean, literally, this is the worst case of stalking in the history. And this stalking goes back to childhood, literally to a child. When a girl used to chase me and my cousin around, and then trying to kiss us. And then that was when I got rammed into by this kid on a bike and I had that severe head contusion. And I'm seriously, it was the size of a peach. I got up, ran inside. The little girl came and knocked on the door. I was conscious. And ever since then, it seems like anytime a girl has been anywhere near me, I'm attacked from all angles. I'm not allowed security. I'm exposed, so I'm a known commodity. I'm attacked. It's really bizarre, but it's one of the worst case of hate crime stalking in my estimation. That's when you get into the whole milk the clock. That's why I think I've lost decades of just wasted time in a kidnapped coma. It's really, really bizarre, though. I mean, like I said, I should have been building a global empire or building a family empire or building a business or something, accomplishing something. Instead, I've been a coma victim, kidnapped. That's my interpretation of it as a intellectual scholar. But of course, I'm going to be called crazy because so they can keep control of it. The conservators can keep control of the stolen wallet. It's all about the money. That's what this is all about. Precedences and percentages and keeping control of assets.